Well, good evening. Today's Wednesday, February 10th, and our Disney story of the night comes to you from Cinderella, and it's called Of Mice and Rice. That's clever. All right. Cinderella, help! Shrieked Drizella. Cinderella dropped the broom she was holding and rushed down the hallway. What is it, stepsisters? We're stuck, yelled Anastasia. Cinderella hurried to the parlor. She barely managed to suppress a giggle at what she saw. Her two stepsisters were stuck in the doorway. So hasty had they both been to leave the room first. With a bit of tugging and pulling, Cinderella managed to get the sisters unwedged. Smiling to herself, she headed back toward the kitchen. Meow, meow, came a cry. I do a pretty good cat noise, don't I? What on earth, said Cinderella? She hurried into the kitchen. Lucifer, the cat, was howling at the top of his lungs. What's the matter, Lucifer? Running over to the fat feline. Oh, you silly thing, you've gotten yourself stuck too. Cinderella laughed and tugged him out of the mouse hole he had wedged his paw into. With a haughty look at Cinderella, the cat strode away. Cinderella peeked into the tiny mouse hole, and the mice crept cautiously forward. You little dears, why are you all shaken up? Do you know what I do when I feel sad or afraid? I find happiness in my dreams. You see this broom? I like to pretend it's a handsome prince and the two of us are dancing together. Suddenly, the mice dashed for their holes. Someone was coming. It was Cinderella's stepsisters. What on earth are you doing, Cinderella? Drizella asked. I was sweeping. Well, you looked as though you were having too much fun doing it, snapped Anastasia. Sorry, not fully awake, I guess. Then a nasty smile appeared on her face. Picking up a bowl of rice from the table, she dumped it onto the floor. Perhaps you need something else to sweep, she said, with a mean laugh. The two sisters left. Cinderella's mouse friends rushed out and began to pick up the grains of rice. Cinderella smiled. You know, I think we'll be able to be just fine if we just look out for one another. Oh, that's a very good statement to say. I feel like that's for our world. If we just did a better job looking out for each other, our world would be a better place. So, let's hear about Libby Riddle. She's our daring woman of the day, and she was a masterful musher. I like a dog sled person, I think. So she spent most of her childhood outdoors, exploring the woods, eating berries, splashing in creeks, and climbing trees. When she was inside, she was enjoying her family's menage of animals, which included dogs, cats, fish, and birds. Her dream was to live in the wilderness, surrounded by animals. When she was 16, Libby made that dream a reality. She graduated from high school and moved to Alaska. She built her own wood cabin, drank water from a mountain stream, and chopped wood for her fireplace. In 1973, she was in the crowd watching the Open World Championship sled dog race, and she was captivated by its speed, power, and beauty. Libby had fallen in love at first sight with dog mushing. Training a sled dog team was much more difficult than training a pet, but Libby dedicated herself to the challenge. She worked with each dog to help it reach its potential. She believed in using her most important tool in the process, her common sense. And her training motto, the dogs come first. She entered her first race and won in 1978. Then she set a goal to race in a race known as the Last Great Race on Earth. It's a prestigious long-distance sled dog race and one of the most grueling. It's held annually in Alaska. It tests the skill and endurance of the dogs and the musher as they race over 1,000 miles in harsh weather conditions and rough terrain. In 1980, she ran her first Iditarod. She came in 18th place, and she tried again and came in 20th. Instead of giving up, Libby tried harder. In 1985, she was ready to try again. Sponsors weren't willing to put their money behind an unknown female musher, but the townspeople of Teller, Alaska, knew how dedicated, talented, and tough she was, and they donated their bingo money to help her out. During the 1985 race, the weather was so treacherous that the race was shut down for days at a time. Libby battled blizzard conditions, temperatures of 50 degrees below zero, and long dark nights with almost no visibility. After 18 days, Libby crossed the finish line, and guess what? She crossed it in first place. The first woman to win the Iditarod. Libby continues to train her dogs and share her passion and love of sled dog racing through her books and lectures. Good for her. If you want to see a good movie about like sled dogs, I would recommend the movie Call of the Wild and that book. So God bless you all, my friends.